Alright, hello everyone, welcome back. Today we have a brand new chapter, chapter 21 of Boruto 2 Blue Vortex. Now before we get into this, I just want to quickly say I am currently kind of starting the process of being sick. So if like my voice feels a little like sounds weird or like really nasally or something, I'm really sorry. And this video might be shorter than usual because kind of hurts to talk a little bit, but I wanted to go ahead and try to get through this. So let's just go ahead and jump right into it to start off with. First of all, as always, we have the chapter cover, and I think this might be one of, if not the coolest chapter cover we've had so far. We have Sarada with her Mangekyo Sharingan design, and we have this special background done. Usually we get a blank background. There was the one with Sumire with the flowers. Now we get this one with Sarada that has all these black streaks around her. And I don't know if this is supposed to be Iron Sand or something else. We'll get into that later once we get into it. But overall, really dope chapter cover. I really like it. Yeah, I think it's one of the better ones that Ikemoto has done so far for 2 Blue Vortex. But regardless, let's go ahead and start with the chapter. Okay, so the chapter kind of starts off with a recap. Not really a recap, but just a bunch of flashbacks of moments that we have and haven't seen through Sarada's perspective. So we get to see her talking about how becoming Hokage is her dream, just like Lord Seventh or Naruto. We get to see the scene once more of Boruto telling Sarada that he wants to become a shinobi like Sasuke, so that way he can be Sarada's right-hand man as she would be the Hokage. We get a flashback to Sumire talking about how it bothers her. God, I'm really messing up. It bothers her that other girls might like Boruto, and she's asking Sarada if it bothers her. And this is all happening. We're kind of getting these flashbacks of when Kawaki and Boruto's entire lives got switched when the omnipotence happened from Ada. We get to see Kawaki slashing Boruto's eye again. Kawaki telling Sarada to move unless she still feels like she needs to interfere. We get to see Shikamaru saying that Lord Seventh has been missing and that there's a possibility that Boruto did it. Mitsuki going on the attack against Boruto. Sasuke also reacting to the whole situation. And then we kind of get to see some of Sarada's thought process before her Mangekyo Sharingan awakened, when she was begging Sasuke to save Boruto. And it's basically just her saying how everything is so cruel, that why can't Boruto ever catch a break considering all the stuff that's kind of happened to him in his life. And then we cut to a scene that I believe we've never seen yet. I'm pretty sure we've never seen this before, at least. We get to see Boruto with his eye bandage. So this is right after the whole incident happened. And it's Sasuke telling Boruto about Sarada awakening her Mangekyo Sharingan, and her not realizing that she did that. So Sasuke's basically talking about how because of this he knows that Sarada is telling the truth, because the awakening of the Mangekyo Sharingan is something that is very, important to an Uchiha, and it's not something that can easily be caused. So if her trying to convince Sasuke the truth was traumatizing or powerful enough to have her awaken the Sharingan, that's how he knows that she is telling the truth about everyone being duped, about Boruto and Kawaki and who has done what. He also says that even though Sarada is not aware that she has the Mangekyo Sharingan, she'll eventually realize it and be able to understand it as well, with the power that it comes with. We then cut back to the fight between Ryu, Sarada, Mitsuki, and the two Sans Shinobi, Arya and Yodo. We get to see this cool panel of Sarada with her Mangekyo right here, with this like black hole type thing over here in the back. And we see that the black hole is absorbing the Iron Sand. It's pulling away the Iron Sand. Ryu tries to attack Sarada again once more with more Iron Sand, but the Iron Sand is quickly diverted and sucked back into that black hole of the black sphere. Ryu is confused. He's wondering if it's one of Sarada's abilities. Sarada tells Mitsuki to guard Arya and Yodo, and to protect himself, that she'll handle Ryu on her own from here on out. And Mitsuki is concerned about her eyes, and Sarada says, "Don't worry about it. This ability may have just awakened, but I already know what it can do." And it seems like Sarada is assuming that this is the first time she's obtained her Mangekyo, but we all know that she has already awakened it years prior to the fight with Ryu when she was trying to convince Sasuke. So it seems like in Sarada's case, she thinks that this is the first time this has ever happened. But regardless, Ryu, understanding what's going on with the black hole, decides to change up how he's attacking Sarada. If the black hole is absorbing the iron sand, then all he has to do is make sure that Sarada is in between the black hole and the iron sand, so that no matter what, it is pulled towards her rather than around her. So Ryu tries this tactic, and before he knows it, the iron sand is pulled in the complete opposite direction behind him. And he's confused as to why this is happening, and then he turns around and notices that there's another black hole right behind him. So he says that there's at least two, but then he notices that there's actually two more in the other directions. So there's at least 4 black holes surrounding the battlefield right now. He counts at least 4. There could possibly be more. We're only shown 4. At least, yes, I believe we're only shown 4. But then before Ryu knows it, he starts to slowly float off the ground. And this is not to his doing. It is something is pulling him up into the air. And Sarada also starts to float as well. So now Sarada and Ryu have both taken to the air. And Ryu is confused, wondering what exactly is going on. And with this, Mitsuki is able to realize what exactly is happening. Sarada is manipulating gravitational force. Ryu quickly tries to use the iron sand to pull himself back down to the ground, but the iron sand that he's trying to use gets floated up into the air as well and towards the black hole, rendering Ryu basically helpless in the air. Mitsuki then continues to say that the black holes that are surrounding the field are exerting gravitational pull, but only upon Ryu, the iron sand, and Sarada herself. It's not affecting him, Arya, Yodo, or any of the objects around them. Sarada is able to pick what the gravitational force applies to. Ryu starts to notice that not only is he floating, he's actually being slowly sucked into the black hole itself. And then Sarada starts to discuss what's going on. She starts by saying for too long she's averted her gaze, worried that her goal to become the Hokage is out of reach, that she's never able to help with any of the tragedies that have happened so far. She didn't want to acknowledge how weak she was, so she looked away from the situation. She looked away from the person that was bothered by the class rep or Sumere's feelings. She looked away from her own feelings towards Boruto. She rejected them all as she thought of them as weaknesses, not realizing that by doing this, she was also rejecting the power that was hiding inside of her, referring to her Mangekyo Sharingan. Ryu grows upset about this and tells Sarada to quit talking, calls her a psycho, and proceeds to attack once more with iron sand, hoping that this time it at least does something. Yet unfortunately it does not, and the black hole behind Ryu starts to expand, pulling him in even quicker, and as he's basically on the surface, he's laying on the surface of the black hole, as you can see on these pages. He's freaking out due to the pulling force getting stronger. Sarada continues to talk, saying that she's no longer looking away, that she's accepting the reality of the situation. Because if she runs, she's not able to tackle the reality. Because of that, she was unable to save a single person. And we are shown Yodo laying on the ground, and at first, to me, it doesn't look like she's dead. She just kind of looks like she's just out of the picture, you know, like unconscious. But we'll get onto that here in a little bit later. Ryu, in a last-ditch effort, summons a claw grime out of his jacket and tries to escape using the teleportation technique of the belts. And as he tries to reach through and escape by himself, he manages to at least get 2 of his fingers through, which if you can see right here on this bottom panel on the right side, you can see Jura, and you can see Ryu's 2 fingers kind of poking out, and Jura actually takes notice of this. Now remember, Jura is also seeing all of this through Ryu's eyes. He knows what's going on. So, but Jura doesn't say anything. He just kind of sits there and quietly observes. And before Ryu knows it, his arm gets pulled back, and he's not able to escape, as the gravitational pull has become too powerful. And Sarada continues, or ends her entire speech by saying, "If becoming Hokage is my dream, she needs to start by accepting herself for who she is." And we get this amazing page of Sarada with her Mangekyo Sharingan, which I will show right here. So on this page we get Sarada aura farming basically, and we get the name of her ability, the Mangekyo Sharingan Ohirume. Very, very cool name. We see up here there's actually a note that says that it's an alternate name for Amaterasu, the sun goddess and chief deity of the Shinto pantheon. Overall, very cool. I really like it. This whole page is just really dope. She's in the middle of like her tomoe as well, as you can kind of see the triangles around her and then the black holes. Overall, very cool page. And then we see that Ryu is starting to get crushed by the black hole. It's starting to envelop him. Sarada's eyes are starting to bleed from the overuse of her abilities. And then on the next page, the black hole that was absorbing Ryu just implodes on itself, causing, I don't know if it's iron sand or Ryu dust, to just scatter everywhere. It's just filling the area, and Sarada proceeds to faint. As she's falling out of the air, Mitsuki grabs her by using his stretchy arms, and he manages to save her from a bad fall. Sarada's eyes are completely bleeding from once again the overuse of her abilities, and she falls unconscious from using up too much of her chakra. And as they're sitting there, kind of just watching all the dust start to form around, it actually turns into this thorn bulb, showing that Ryu has been defeated by Sarada. We then cut to Ada, Boruto, and Koji as they are all discussing among themselves what just happened. Koji is happy because the Mangekyo Sharingan has awakened in Sarada, and they managed to achieve one of the goals of this battle that they were hoping for. And then Ada says something very interesting. She says, indeed, they have succeeded, but it's a shame about what happened to Yodo. And Koji proceeds to say, but it wasn't in vain. Her sacrifice was a major factor to this outcome, so it couldn't be helped. So it seems that Yodo is actually dead. This isn't a situation like with Inojin. It seems like Yodo might actually be dead here. Boruto then proceeds to speak up, asking Koji to answer him truthfully if there is any chance of the Mangekyo Sharingan awakening without anyone dying. Ada waits for Koji's answer as well, and Koji proceeds to say, all I can say is, if you had gone there, Boruto, it would not have happened. And Boruto says, so you knew that Yodo would die and you kept it from me. Koji says that he determined it was the best route to not tell you, and right now you're proving me right. Boruto then proceeds to ask about Konohamaru, if he will have a chance against Matsuri still. Koji stays silent, and Boruto demands an answer for him. And Koji says, listen to me, Boruto. Jura can see what is happening, so if you even try to help Konohamaru and appear before Matsuri, Jura will see you and appear himself, and if he does, he will kill you. I've seen many different timelines where this all happens. We then cut back to Konohamaru and Matsuri, and if you remember from the previous chapter, Konohamaru was about to defeat Matsuri, but then he ended up hesitating, and upon that hesitation, Matsuri was able to take back control of the fight, and right now she has Konohamaru in her grasp as she has two of her scarf tails embedded into his arms, stopping him from doing his attacks. And he is bleeding quite badly, as you can see blood kind of streaming down his arms. Matsuri is upset with him, calling him a bastard, saying that he'll pay for what he did. And before she has a chance to say anything else, all of a sudden, a shuriken appears and lands right on her shoulder. She looks back at the shuriken, and then we see a flash. Dust piles around everywhere, and we see that Boruto has teleported to the scene, using the piece of metal that was left on the ground to lure the Shinju in. So Boruto threw the shuriken at Matsuri to be able to teleport or just get her attention. And in that moment, Matsuri is about to say Boruto's name, but in the middle of saying his name, she's cut off as Boruto completely sliced her into pieces. Like nothing, literally nothing is left of her right here, as you can see on the right side. Just completely sliced all up, completely into pieces. And the speed at which he did this is quite amazing, because if you notice, on the previous page, Konohamaru looks over at Boruto when he appears. And in the next page, once Matsuri has been completely cut up, Konohamaru is still looking in the same direction. So Boruto, in a flash, is able to take out the remaining bits of Matsuri. But unfortunately, this might be a bad thing, because Koji says that Boruto is going to ruin everything. We then cut back to Jura, who notices and says, "There you are, Otosuki Boruto." And with that, we have the end of the chapter. Overall, very good chapter. Very, very good chapter. I'm glad that Sarada finally got her moment. That was one of the issues I had with the Boruto manga, or Two Blue Vortex so far, is that Sarada hasn't really had a chance to shine too much. I was kind of hoping she would in the earlier chapters, but she wasn't able to. But now she's completely got her moment. It seems like her ability is going to be just powerful enough to let her to be able to really compete with the new power level with like Kawaki, Boruto, and Shinju. Overall, I'm a big fan of her ability. It's definitely it reminds me of Planetary Devastation with the way it kind of works. And it'll be interesting to see how she's able to employ it, because here she's able to make herself float. So I wonder if it's something. So I'm wondering if the way it works is if she can affect people's gravity or be able to manipulate them using gravity without using the black holes, or she has to have the black holes summoned in order to be able to do that. I'm kind of wondering how exactly this is all going to work. Right now, it seems like she needs to have the black holes out to be able to do anything, so I guess we'll see. One thing that it reminds me of, especially in that one panel of her floating with the spheres around her, is that it reminds me of Naruto's Six Paths mode from the end of Shippuden with the truth-seeking orbs. This is the same kind of vibe. Like, I don't think these tomoes are visible. I think this is just like an artistic choice. At least on other pages, it doesn't seem like they're around her. So I think the tomoe are just an artistic choice, but I think the spheres, though, that's the kind of feeling I get. I could see Sarada kind of pulling up to a fight and having those spheres around her, floating behind her the same way Naruto had the truth-seeking orbs behind him. I think that's really dope. Overall, like I said earlier, I'm really happy with it. Excited to see how Sarada will use this in future battles. I think it's a fitting ability for her. It's cool to see the Mangekyo Sharingan back. Her tomoe design is pretty cool. The whole like sun look is pretty cool. I really hope the Jogan does come back, so that way Sarada and Boruto have the whole sun and moon connection with their eyes as well, because the Jogan does kind of have a more moon-like appearance to it. Another thing, this chapter kind of confirmed that Sarada does have like romantic feelings for Boruto, at least. So it does seem like that is the path they're going with. Well, I guess we'll have to wait and see how far that goes, but I know the shippers are probably happy about that. I do wonder if Ryu is actually going to stay down, or if Ryu is going to end up coming back. They did get the Thorn Bulb, but now that Boruto is there, Jura should be showing up to the field as well. So if Jura shows up, will Jura take both Matsuri's and Ryu's Thorn Bulb with him before he leaves? And what exactly will happen to Boruto? I don't know, because Koji says that If Boruto shows up here, Jura will kill him. He showed up, so what exactly is going to stop Boruto from dying here? And I think I have an idea of what it will be. So, you remember from the earlier chapters, Boruto and Kawaki have already agreed that they will work together to take down the Shinju first, before dealing with their own issues with each other. So because of that, we've also seen that Kawaki has already confronted Amato about removing his limiters and getting his full powers back ahead of time due to Boruto telling him about it. So could we possibly see Jura pulling up to the field, Boruto struggling to fight him, and then before Jura is able to kill him, Kawaki actually shows up to save Boruto? I think that's kind of where we're heading to right now. I think we're going to end up getting Kawaki and Boruto fighting Jura, and because of that, Jura will end up having to retreat, or he'll decide that now isn't the best time for him to continue or try to end this fight, and maybe he'll just grab Matsuri's Thornbulb and Ryu's Thornbulb real quick and peace out of there, or maybe he only manages to grab one of them, so maybe Ryu stays dead for good, and we get Shinki back on our side. I don't know. Regardless, I do think I feel pretty confident that Kawaki will be showing up to save Boruto from getting killed from Jura. Because that is something that Boruto has done, is telling Kawaki about the whole limiter powers thing early. So I guess we'll see how that ends up going. I mean, maybe Code shows up for some whatever reason. I don't think Code will show up, but I think Kawaki showing up is a pretty decent chance. Like 80% chance of happening. So I guess we will see how next chapter goes. Yeah, I feel like next chapter is probably just going to be a quick discussion between Boruto and Konohamaru about what just happened. Maybe we get a little bit more with the group of Sarada, Mitsuki, Yodo, and Arya. Maybe we get like a full 100% confirmation that Yodo is dead. I'm pretty sure they already confirmed it, but you never know. They might at the last second be able to help her, but I think she's dead. If not, if they bring her back, then I guess we'll see. I don't know. It depends on what they do with it. I really don't think her death will end up having too much an effect. I mean, her death did help Sarada awaken the Mangekyo, and it would be interesting to see what Shinki's reaction, because oh god, now that I think about that, if they do manage to, if Jura doesn't take Ryu's Thornbulb and we do get Shinki back, what would his reaction be to basically, because he technically, his clone was the one that killed Yodo, so will he feel responsible for killing her? Oh god, that could be interesting if they go that route. I guess we'll have to wait and see if they do get Shinki back. Damn. I actually really want to see that now, to see how Shinki responds to that, but yeah, I think next chapter we get Boruto and Konohamaru with a quick conversation. We probably see Koji and Ada talking to each other about how Boruto, or maybe Ada asking Koji what's going to happen, and Koji basically saying Boruto just caused like the destruction of the earth by making this one mistake. Boruto and Jura might get into a quick fight. Jura ends up stomping Boruto or something, and before he's able to deliver the final blow or something, Kawaki shows up, and that's probably how the chapter ends. I can see that being next month's chapter. But regardless, we'll see how this goes. Let me know down below what you guys thought about Sarada's new Mangekyo Sharingan and what her ability is. If you liked it or not, if you think it's too much. And let me know what your predictions for next chapter will be. But overall, that's going to go ahead and do it for me. Really good chapter. As always, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys want to read the chapter or reread it yourself, link down below in the description to the Viz Media page. And other than that, I will see you all next time for the next Boruto chapter.